Hello, everyone. It's Tom, the Lone Wolf Prepper, and welcome to Lone Wolf Prepper Lives Live. Anyway, this Friday night we are going to talk about dealing with clueless non-preppers. You know what I mean? Clueless, I mean not only about prepping, but not educated at all either. Just a lot of things, okay? When you're dealing with somebody that doesn't have the intelligence to even understand why they need to prep. Anyway, I'll go into that. I had a discussion with somebody today, and I tell you what do you do? I'll tell you one thing you don't do when those people come knocking on your door because they realize you were right. You don't let them in. Anyway, I'm going to wait for a few people to show up. So one thing about this channel, like I say, this is my secondary channel or my second channel. My other channel is a little bit bigger, growing a little bit faster. But I'm going to do a live stream every other day on this channel for sure. Drop a video every once in a while. I drop videos on stuff that's a shorter subject and, single subject. Okay, something I don't want to do a live stream about. And then a short every once in a while and stuff. Trying to get this channel to grow a little bit. But that's my plans for this channel because I got to devote most of my attention to my other channel right now, which is at Hidden Truths 1967. So check it out if you like something that's political or conspiratorial, or this weekend I plan on doing some strange phenomenon stuff and things like that. So anyway, but finally got some rain here. Good measurable rain. It was nice. I tell you what, I was sleeping in my chair and I smelt it. That's what woke me up, is smelling all of a sudden the change in the air and stuff. And I tell you what, it was good. It cooled it down nice and good. That's one thing. Mother Nature will eventually give you what you want in the heat of the day, and you're wishing it was cold. Winter's just around the... Hey, Carol, how's it going? Anyway, I'm going to make you a managing moderator on this channel, too. There you go, ma'am. Anyway, I tell you what, YouTube's been tough on me. On my other channel, they're not liking some of my shorts. Anyway, but the thing is, right, on my other channel, I'm at 99,000 views in 1 week so far. I've been that way a couple days now. I'm trying to get over 100,000 views in 7 days, and they're really hammering me. So anyway, but let's get talking about subject on this channel. Let's talk about dealing with non-preppers, clueless non-preppers. Going to talk about an incident I had today talking with a non-prepper, okay? And we're talking about financial stuff, okay? Now, how are you supposed to have a discussion about financial Armageddon when they think that the euro is a world reserve currency? How are you supposed to, and they don't, look it up on Google, you don't know what you're talking about. How am I supposed to have an intelligent conversation about economic downfall when they don't even understand what the world reserve currency is? This is the thing about people that don't understand this type of stuff. What country ever comes here with their checkbook open, giving our country money? No, they all come here with their hand out. Because this is what I'm saying. Clueless non-preppers. Okay, and what's their solution when stuff's going to get crazy? Well, they always say, well, they're just basically going to bend over and kiss their ass goodbye, and that's it. No, they're not. When they're starving, they're going to come to your door. But some people just don't have the self-preservation that the rest of us have. The rest of them, they have to all go through some painful, realizing reality. Well, you're out there and you're all comfortable and stuff with your generator or whatever, and your food, and you're not stressing as bad, they're going to come to the realization that you were right. But arguing with these people, like I said, I was arguing with somebody that thought the euro was a world reserve currency. And right then I'm thinking to myself, well, I can't even convince them that the dollar is. How am I? Anyway, I don't know what to say, man. I just don't know what to say. This is what we're dealing with in today's world. That's why, as preppers, you have to not be cold, but you need to realize that I'm not talking natural disasters or stuff where there's, everything's going to be normal in a couple weeks or a month, right? I'm talking about long term. No food in the grocery stores and stuff. You're going to have to have, I don't want to say hard as stone, but if you let somebody in, well, if I've been watching your shorts, but it doesn't allow me it don't allow people to hit likes. It don't allow people to comment. I'm telling you, why am I such a danger? Why do what I got to say is so dangerous? I mean, you look at my analytics, nothing matches. Nothing where you can put the double line underneath your accounting. Nothing like that. There's not one part of my analytics that matches the other part. I mean, Jeepers Cripes, you get 100,000 views in a week, 7 days, and you only got 426 subscribers or 467 subscribers. Okay. The thing is, we all know all conservative channels are dealing with this. Just like this prepping channel. They don't want prepping channels out there. They don't want people telling you how to survive on your own and become independent because they want everybody dependent on the government. They want everybody going to the government semi for their food packages like they did with the Indians. I mean, that's basically what they're trying to do. Make the United States just one big reservation where we all get our hardtack and sugar and coffee once a month. Anyway, that's why you need to prepare. Now that there's stuff in the stores, you can still order stuff off Amazon. Get what you need, okay? I'm not saying you shouldn't have some cash in the bank, but if stuff goes nasty and you need equipment, that cash in the bank and there ain't nothing to get, that cash in the bank ain't doing you no good, okay? Get what you can. Get good equipment, durable stuff, okay? And remember your main goal when you're prepping. It's for you and your immediate family to survive. If I had my family, if I was still younger with my wife and kids, I would still be prepping as a lone wolf, just as a family lone wolf. Well, now I'm just a pure lone wolf, okay? I want to be able to take care of myself, okay? And that's who I'm going to be responsible for. And when stuff gets crazy, you have to be responsible for yourself. You cannot be a burden on your neighbor because your neighbor don't have the time or anything for it because he's worried about himself. This allows me to not comment, Justin. I forgot. I didn't put the thing is when I start dealing with a lot of comments that are stupid, I'll put the delay on for 60 seconds. But like I say, I don't want to have a babysitter in the chat, but if you have to, try to have an intelligent conversation about survival and stuff. So you don't have to put your head in the sand or rely on your neighbor who you know is a prepper to get you through and stuff. That's really rude to do too. Out in the wild, if the squirrel don't collect the nuts over the summer, he don't live through the winter. It's not like he can knock on the neighbor tree and say, "Hey, can you give me some food?" This allows me. All right, just a second here. Just give me a second, Carol. I will. Oops. Not that one. All right, I got the delay on now, Carol. So they can only do every minute, so you won't have to deal with that no more. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm dealing with. We're talking about survival, and these guys want to sit there and make stupid comments on the chat. Aren't you concerned at all? Or do you think the life is just going to be like it is today? But then again, we don't need people like that on the other side that want to create hate and discontent. We don't need that because everybody's going to have to come together. Everybody's going to have to sit there and put forth effort. I mean, I think it's going to actually come to a point where there's communities. And if you want to be part of a community, you're going to have to be given some type of, you're going to have to be an asset to the community. And you're going to have to learn how to work hard. And you're going to have to learn to endure as a whole. And nobody's going to give a shit about what your feelings are. And go back to the way when I was a kid, huh? You think of that, Carol? Anyway, but we're trying to educate people here. Not everybody knows how to go out into the woods and make fire. Maybe I should do that. I did the roping one, but I can't make fire. Well, we got some rain, so maybe next couple of days we can sit there and do one making a fire and stuff. You need to have shelter. You need to have food and water, to live, to survive. And obviously clothes on your back and stuff, that would go with shelter in your gear. But, that's one thing I want to do on this channel. If you're walking through the woods and, the basic things that people used to know how to do. I mean, the caveman used to know how to survive in a cave, hunting with a spear, okay? This video on that would be cool. A video on that would be cool. Oh, hey, J99's here. Carol, J99 is a vet from Maine. So, anyway, her and her husband are preppers, and I figured you'd enjoy this conversation, J99, because like I say, dealing with these clueless preppers, what'd you say you had a brother-in-law or whatever that's getting on you or whatever? Who cares about them? I'm done talking to these people. I'm not going to care when stuff gets crazy and I'm not as stressed out as they are. I've had flat out there telling me, well, you ain't going to survive anyway. What an attitude to have. What do you mean I can't survive? I'm healthy. I got tons of skills. I can endure a lot. I still got my dogs and horses to take care of, but, I can endure. People that are just going to sit there and say they're going to give up. Like I say, like you say, when you're talking to somebody that thinks the euro is world reserve currency, when you're trying to talk about debt and I didn't even know how, you didn't tell me, look it up on Google. I said, I don't have to. I know that's not true. I've heard people tell me that Israel is the richest country because they're all Jews. Yeah, that was their reasoning. They're all Jews. Then I said, why do we give them billions of dollars in aid every year? Like I say, what leader of a country ever comes to the White House with their checkbook open? It's always like this. I need something from the American taxpayer. Anyway. Hey, what do you two think? Do you think I need to do my live stream? One thing I noticed on YouTube, since I only got J99 and Carol in here, is I noticed if I take a day off, YouTube lays off a little bit. I don't know if the algorithm resets itself or what it is. And then when I come back, I start out again. I always come back stronger and stronger and stronger. But and you can't even sit there and have videos on telling people what would be good skills to have. I realize roping is a skill that a lot of people look and golf at, but there's some people that would enjoy that. And hands-on is a lot easier to teach somebody. But there's all these. They're just trying to make us dependent, just like new cars these days. They're making them so guys like me can't fix a vehicle no more. That's why I buy old stuff that I could field strip this 460 on the long side of the interstate, take it apart, put it back together again, and take off driving. Tell you could do that with a new car. They don't want people like that no more. For one thing, they don't make no money on it. I mean, they want to sit there and make money on your cradle from the grave. From the time you get your car till you get rid of your car. Now they're coming out with 8-year car loans with some of $1,000 a month car payment. Oh my goodness gracious. That's exactly what my husband says about new cars. I'll never own one. This is the thing too. Okay, you see my truck in here? My steering wheel is mechanically connected to my front tires. Okay, cars these days aren't like that. It's all electric impulses, voltage, synchros and servos. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was doing electronics. It was synchros and servers, and it's the same thing. Your steering wheel, when you turn it, you create a voltage, and it goes to whatever motor it needs to run, and gets that voltage to zero, equalizes that voltage. And that's how it works. Well, are you kidding me? Never. I'll go to ride my horse. I'll have my airplane anyway, but there's no way. So, yeah, you two will get along. Carol, I need to tell you too. Did you get that message from me about Impeach is back? He's on at ICE, all in caps, and then cops, all in lowercase. That's where he's at. Yeah, Impeach, he's back. So he messaged me on one of my videos. It's like, oh my God. He goes, I was looking for you. I couldn't find you. I'm hidden. I mean, let's see. Okay, let's see how dangerous Tom is. Okay. I live out here. Yeah, they're trying to do weed harvest now and it won't stop raining. But I live out here. Okay. Yeah, I'm just so damn dangerous. I don't understand it. I mean, this is not the way we were brought up. Not in school. In the service, we were taught to follow orders, but not keep our mouth shut. I mean, we were still required to think on our own. Anyway, the video I did last night on my Hidden Truths channel about education, indoctrination, and AI intoxication. That's my term I came up with. AI intoxication. The non-evolution or the de-evolution of human intelligence. I dealt with it today. I deal with everybody who got a basic education when we were going through school, and we all pushed ourselves, but even the basic education. What I mean by basic, maybe you didn't just do so good in school, but I was one of those that I took all the advanced math classes and the science classes, but I always made sure that I took woodworking every year. I always did industrial arts because, that's another prepping skill to have. I forgot to tell you. It's woodworking. Can you make your own furniture? Can you make a cedar chest? Can you be able to sit there? You need a mill, but cut lumber down, mill it, dry it, and build it into stuff you need, because that'll be a skill that'll come back. I remember back in probably the late 70s when my mom got cupboards put in the house. We actually had a craftsman make them. They don't even do that no more. And those cupboards are still in that house. Beautiful cupboards. Nowadays, you get this pressed stuff I wouldn't put no dishes in. That's one thing about these older houses, the cupboards. The old-fashioned handmade cupboards before they went to all this. You know what I'm talking about, Carol and Jen? Yeah. Anyway, I remember the days when my mom would say, I'm never going to get a microwave. I'll never own a microwave. And she held out to, oh, heck, I was in the Marine Corps before she got a microwave. She's pretty stubborn about that. But my mom also used a wringer washer until the early 1980s, too. So anyway, made everything from scratch. I remember one time she came over, I was making pancakes. And she saw the box, the mix box on the cover. And you ain't making them from scratch? What's wrong with you? Okay, Carol, yeah. He's ice, all in uppercase, cops, all in lowercase. And he's still impeached. But I told him we were worried about him. He goes, some people knew he left for a couple months, but yeah, he's back. So still in the same place. Doesn't do as many lives as he did before, but anyway. But older is better. We get rid of our microwave years ago. I mean, I really don't. Okay, I'm a bachelor. I admit I eat like a bachelor. I like my microwavable sandwiches and stuff, especially when I don't have a lot of time. Like last night I didn't do a live on this channel because I was out mowing my yard and stuff. And I just don't have time. That's why I think until this channel picks up more, I'm just going to do a live stream every other day because I want to focus on my other channel because there's so much that's going on there too. I mean, what should I have my live stream about tonight? I don't know. Let's spin the wheel. And we'll sit there and let fate pick the subject. That's how bad it's getting. And that's why prepping channels. Yeah, there's lots of prepping channels on canning and all this stuff, and people that are better at it than I am. I'll be honest with you. But I have prepping skills too that other people don't have. Where you're better at some and not good at others. I don't even have a garden this year. Don't have a time for it. It's cheaper for me and all the time I spend doing other stuff to sit there and go to the store and buy my vegetables I eat. But, it's not like I don't know how to do it. It's not like I don't got my seeds. It's not like I ain't prepared to do it. Okay? We all have the knowledge. And this is the thing, too, about prepping that so strange. This is just how we grew up. Knowing all this stuff. I mean, being forced to work in the garden. Helping butchering chickens and all that other stuff. Raising animals and livestock. Driving big equipment, working with hydraulics. I mean, all this stuff that people go to school for, it's just like we learned all that growing up. But anyway, and doesn't it feel a little strange sometimes? That's what I'm saying. Clueless preppers, people that they don't even know how to take care of themselves. Things get crazy, they're going to be running around like chicken with their head cut off. You don't want that in your mag or anywhere near you during those times. So you got to be concerned with yourself and your family. Okay? And if you live near a city, bug the hell out. And Carol, you live near a military base, bug the hell out. You live 4 miles from Sister just turn around and drive away. You live 4 miles from Fort Bragg. They'll have roadblocks up everywhere. Okay? Relax, Columbus. I guess they must be checking how much rain they got and stuff. That could have been a custom harvester too. Usually they're already done weed harvesting, but this year was so late because we had such a cool spring, and now this is going to set them back even further. I mean, that one year, 2012, they were done before the 4th of July that year, and normally that's when they like to start, around the 4th of July. But that's Mother Nature. As long as they can get the crop out of the field before the big white combine comes through, that would be hail. So, farmer's term. So, I tell you what, I was listening to some Paul Harvey. I love Paul Harvey stuff. And on the 8th day, God made a farmer. And then there's Sunday morning on my other channel, I'm going to do a letter from God. You know, do people sit there and hate believing so much because it has to make them, or they feel guilty about not being a moral person? Pleasure of the flesh, anything goes. Anyway, prepping channel. Prepping channel, Tom. You're not on the other. But anyway, when it comes to these people that don't understand why they need to prep, that they're just, I don't know how you can go through life with goggles on and not see. I mean, he sits there, they tell me, you need to get off YouTube, and that's distracting you. No, just going to the store, I see it. I don't have to watch YouTube to see it. Like I say, what I mean by seeing it is the degradation of society. Yeah, we still got small town atmosphere here, but everything's about money. Money's the root of all evil, and believe me, even in these small towns, these big conglomerates are coming in and taking over. Okay, and we got one locally owned gas station and one locally owned grocery store that doesn't get much business because we got they put a Dollar General in town. So many people are blinded as to things that are going on. I don't know how. How can they sit there and go to the grocery store and buy food every month and think that the economy's good and that the dollar's worth something? And then the government just comes in, oh, we'll help you out. We'll give you some money here, money there. You know what? Get the hell out of my life. Give me all my money. Stop going into debt. I mean, it's just a bomb ready to go off. And they can't see why we need to prep. I'm not talking World War III, Israel and Iran, or Ukraine and Russia, because now that's not bothering us unless Trump keeps pushing Russia. But we got things to prep for in this country. I mean, when our economy collapses and our dollar collapses and the BRICS takes over the world reserve currency, I mean, if you've never seen a third world country with your own eyes, America is not ready for that. We can have all the nice little bells and whistles out there in the street, but if nobody's got any money, it doesn't matter now, does it? And we can have the Department of Health and Human Services no more because what third world country has a welfare system? But, you know, that will take care of the scamming because our dollar won't be worth nothing, so we won't have to worry about scamming calls no more because they ain't going to waste their time. They'll probably be trying to go after the Zimbabwe dollar before ours. That's why if you got money in your bank now, like I say, don't get rid of all of it. But if these fools in these stores are willing to exchange that worthless piece of paper for something that you're going to need for years and years and years, and make sure you get something that lasts for years and years and years. And like I say, go to the secondhand stores. I'm not talking the Red Cross. I'm talking these secondhand thrift stores that are in these little itty bitty towns. And that's another local store we have and a restaurant. But the other gas stations, conglomerate, regional, but conglomerate. The elevator, regional conglomerate. I've been prepping 12 years strong. Yeah, I've been doing it for 31. As soon as I got out of the Marine Corps and Clinton was in office, I'm like, hey, the country looks a little bit different than when Reagan was in. Did you go through that J99 when you got out? I want to ask you this, okay? When I went in to boot camp, it was January 5th, 1960. Whoo! I'm not that old. 1986, okay? And I got out, it was the end of January, 1994. And it was like January 6th, 1986 when I went home. It's a strange feeling I felt. It's like those 8 years that went by, I don't know. It's like when I went home, it's like they didn't, I don't know, it was the strangest feeling. Did you ever feel that? I read one deal on it from a Civil War vet, some memoirs from a Civil War vet that described it. How when he went home, it was like the next day after he left. And then I come home and tractors have 12 tires on them. And I mean, it's not like I didn't come home from leave, but I guess it's like I didn't pay attention or something. And then it was just the strangest feeling. It was like, and then like I say, I got to see the forest through the trees. I mean, we went from Reagan to Bush to Clinton, and I didn't really notice any difference till Clinton. And it was, oh my God. I just didn't think it would ever get this far. I was hard to adjust when I came home. I still haven't adjusted. I'll never adjust. I'll never fit in now because of the experiences and seeing what things were like. And people just don't understand. They try to talk to the average American about it. They'd never seen anything, but a lot of them, but maybe a couple 100 miles from their home. You know, and they got everybody has the mentality of an American. And they don't realize that in these other countries, they really hate our ass. And just, it's like, you know, like in Rambo, you know, the first movie at the end when he's talking to Troutman, he's talking about, you know, how we used to sit there in the service and we had responsibility up the ass. You know, when I was in my last 3 years in the electronics part, this one piece of equipment I worked on, the guys in the ground side, and they disbanded a battalion. That's another whole story. But anyway, I worked on this piece of equipment that was painted in gold, and it said right on top, "Be careful with me, I'm worth my weight in gold," okay? You know, qualifications up the ass. I had like six MOSs for sure. I'm not sure if it was 7, but I had a lot of MOSs. Did a lot of stuff. And then you come out, and my God, these guys, when I go fencing, they don't even think I know to put a post hole in the ground right. Oh, you were a Marine? You must be a dumbass. I mean, you think somebody that works on a Navy sub is a dumbass? Anyway, that's what I dealt with. And then, you know, when I did electronics, when I first got out of the Marine Corps and stuff, and I excelled and basically took over a spot where 4 people were doing, and I did it by myself. And then I got told my pay wasn't based on my performance. You know, in the Marine Corps, I would have got promoted for that. So, it came forever change you. Our daughter is in the Army now. 2 brothers in the Navy. My dad was a Marine. Your dad was a Marine? So how many times did you tell your dad, Dad, when you were growing up, Dad, this isn't the Marine Corps? God, my daughters told me that all the time. It was crazy. So I don't know what to say. You got a military family. I'm proud as hell of that shit. You know, I just hope when it's time to if any of them are overseas, I come from a huge military family as well. Yeah, me. I was all my grandfather's sons. Well, there's some secrets about my dad that I don't know about. And, you know, we have to get a freedom. When you got to get a Freedom of Information Act to get your father's service record, would you want to look at it? When he goes from Vietnam in the early 60s, so that means he would have had to been Army trainers, right? Green Beret. I don't want to go into my family history on here, but it's strange. It just say my dad's an enigma. A lot of secrets. My mom won't say nothing. Nobody will say nothing. And everybody that knows the truth is passing away now. So, and if I don't want to sit there and read something that I need a Freedom of Information Act for, especially when it's doing my personal family. Maybe some things are not best brought up, you know, but then I was the only grandson that ever went in service. And that was one thing about my grandfather. He started talking about World War II with me. My grandfather was the third wave to hit Omaha Beach on D-Day. And then he got stuck under Patton in the 3rd Armored Division for the breakout and stuff. And then he was all the way until the end of the war. And he finally started opening it up to me about that stuff. And, you know, that's one thing I always want to do in the service. Not that things weren't exciting enough, but a massive battle that we'll never see on those type of scale again, especially if we go AI with everything. Like the Battle of Stalingrad. That would be one prepper survival skill, wouldn't it? You'd really find out if you were a good lone wolf in a situation like that. So maybe I just like to challenge myself too much. My grandfather was in World War II in Germany. When did he go over to Europe? See, my grandfather at first, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, he was 21 or 20. And he was out on the farm there in southern Minnesota. He wasn't getting along with his dad very well, so he decided to join the Army. And then he went to boot camp, and then they went out to the desert in California, and they were training them for Operation Torch to go to North Africa. Well, then they got yanked from that because they didn't figure they needed that many troops, and then they sat there and they went over to England, and they started training for the D-Day invasion. But he was a mortarman, okay? Now, he said that in one of the battles, though I don't know if it was the breakout, it could have been, it either had to have been the breakout, the Falaise Gap, or the Battle of the Bulge. But he said they melted their mortar barrel. That's crazy time. That's crazy. But anyway, so, but hey, it's probably coming here. So anyway, back to prepping. Everybody needs to get prepped, all right? Don't rely on your neighbors. Don't rely on the government. Because the first thing the government's going to be doing is running off to their little bunkers and protecting their own ass and leaving us all to ourselves, okay? because they ain't going to care if they're in their bunkers and we're all killing each other for the last scrap of food. Anyway. And then with this Epstein list too. Because are they going to try to do something stupid to cover it up? Are they going to, and like I say, they're going to have, next false flag, if you want to call it, is going to have to be worse than 9/11. Okay? To get everybody on board, it'll have to be worse than 9/11. So, anyway, make sure you stay prepped. Keep learning them skills. Whatever, every skill is, you never know. You know, like your teacher used to tell you in school, we say, when are we ever going to use this? Well, you never know. So that's the attitude to have. You never know, so I'm just going to go ahead and learn it. So it's a good time now. But anyway, everybody have a great Friday evening. Glad everybody was here. And I got to get ready for my other live stream on my other channel. Like I say, I want to hit that 100,000 views in 7 days. You know, last month, I only got 93,000 views all month. This month, I got 100,000 views in the first 8 days. And then the old video, bah! But don't worry. The algorithms aren't in charge, okay? I mean, what, they think we're stupid? And it's all conservative channels. Anybody's not sitting there trying to tell people to get prepared, tell people the truth, try to get people to get their head out of the sand, tell people trying to tell, hey, we're all in the sinking ship together. We all need to get together. We all need to wake up, quit our fighting, bickering, quit being divided about all this shit. They're hiding it. But people that sit there and get on there and, well, it just are immoral, I will say, or spreading fear, getting people, you know, fear the biggest controller, the sky is falling. You know, I like the Canadian, but my God, the sky is not falling every day. All right? And people need to hear some positive stuff. You know, maybe we could try to make a video about how to bring people together. But see, they don't allow that stuff out. The algorithm, you know, I don't know if they have the algorithm picking up on certain words, whatever it is. And it gets pulled and buried. Anyway, and then the analytics don't matter. Like when I put that one back on about me saying the Pledge of Allegiance, great analytics, but they won't put it on the feed. So, anyway, but that's the world we live in today. And that's why you need to be a prepper. Because anybody who thinks these people aren't going to stop until they've achieved their goal, or things have gotten so bad that they can't achieve their goal anymore, okay, remember, we're stuck in the middle. So anyway, and our tax dollars are making sure that they got everything good to go, okay? But anyway, yeah. And we're dealing with non-preppers. You know, you got to eventually say one time, I've said my piece. I'm not going to feel bad no more for them. And that's the point I'm at. Especially when I'm arguing with these absolute clueless ones. Anyway, this is Tom, the Lone Wolf Prepper. I'm out of here.